In this video, I want to share with you my little story about one very old console. The name of this console is Sega Master System. In a single game, they changed everything. The name of this legendary game is Wonder Boy in Monsterland.
Hello?
Hello?
Stop! Please, stop being so dramatic!
Leave me alone. I'm telling a story. So where were we? Once upon a time, there was a game called Wonder Boy.
Hi everybody, I hope you liked it. So let's begin. So first I want to talk about the Sega Master System in short, relatively short, and then we're going to move talking about the game. So the Sega Master System, SMS by the way for short, launched in Japan as the Sega Mark III in 1985 and rebranded for international markets in 1986. This is Sega's counter to Nintendo's Famicom or NES, and its development built on Sega's strength in arcade gaming, with the engineering team led by Hideki Sato and Masami Ishikawa, aiming to exceed the limitations of previous systems, particularly the SG-1000. In North America, it was much less popular. It debuted in North America on September 1996 at $200, with initial packaging including a light gun, 2 controllers, and built-in games. Now, early sales figures it around between 125 to 250k by Christmas 1986, but just in comparison, the NES sold more than 1 million at the time. It eventually sees strong support after 1991 as the Sega Genesis took center stage. Now, it was much popular in Europe and also in Brazil. In Europe, it launched in 1987. It's marketed as superior to competing home computers and the NES, especially with ports of Sega's arcade hits, and eventually outselling the NES in the UK, France, Australia, and even parts of Germany. Cumulative European sales reached around 7 million by the mid-1990s. Now, I had the Sega Master System and not the NES. And there was one game that was so revolutionary to me, and one that I have probably the most nostalgic memories, and even just memories, because I always remember again the highs and the lows. Everything else, I need lots of things to revive those memories. And this is Wonder Boy in Monsterland. The original Wonder Boy game was released in 1986 and was a pure side-scrolling platformer. And Wonder Boy in Monsterland was the first in the series, released in 1987, to introduce RPG elements. You have gold, you have shops, you have armor upgrades and branching paths, while also retaining the arcade-style action. The game was developed by Western Beat Entertainment and published by Sega. This game was among the earliest games to merge platforming with RPG mechanics in arcades. It also had persistent progression, so players could upgrade weapons, armor, and magic, a rarity in arcade games at the time. It introduced a medieval fantasy world with towns, quests, and bosses, paving the way for future action RPGs like Zelda 2 and Castlevania 2. Now, if you were back in the days, things moved very quickly. You're going to see lots of shit when it comes to graphics, unique gameplay, different genres emerging out of nowhere. And again, this is because of the hardware keep getting better and better. Even before that, moving from CGA to EGA on PC to then VGA. So just imagine moving from something that is monochronic to seeing actually colors and playing games in colors. The music was amazing, the game was absolutely charming. It was the first time for many gamers that they can actually feel like they are going on a grand adventure. The game had tight controls, quick humor, and very satisfying difficulty curve. The game first published by Sega in 1987 and released in Japanese arcades. In 1988, Sega ported the game to its Master System console, where in Japan it's titled Super Wonder Boy Monster World. And if you fancy that version, you can find copies of it, of course, on eBay and other online markets. Now, one of the most memorable thing that this game has, and I still, of course, remember it until this day, and of course, after playing it, it was really fun experiencing it again, is that Well, most 8-bit games, when enemies die, they just disappear or explode. Wonder Boy in Masterland, on the other hand, was different. I would say even a little dark. So almost every enemy has a special death picture, kind of just one frame. And the best example is the slow mushroom enemy, for example. When you hit it with your sword, its face kind of changes to show pure pain and crying horror just before it disappears. So although the game was very colorful and inviting, this gave the game a strange dark feeling. It made you think that even the weakest enemy was kind of having a true terrible end. I'm just showing you this in slow motion so you can see, the frame. It happens sometimes also when you eat enemies, and it's just so memorable. But if you wonder why it's looked like that, because I'm playing this on Nintendo Switch, and this is with a CRT filter. Now the reception for this game was good, but it had some mixed reviews. It actually, among all the platforms that it was released, when I aggregated the scores, it seems like that the Sega Master System had the highest score among all of them. But what actually hindered this game to becoming more popular is the sales of the console itself. It was kind of niche console in the US and even in Japan, where of course Nintendo was the most popular. It was actually very popular in Europe. I mean, by 1988, Nintendo held 83% of the North American video game market. So if you're in Europe, you probably played the Sega Master System, which was the best-selling console up until 1990. So a game like this, like Wonder Boy in Masterland, will be probably forever be embedded in people's memory, those who actually played it. But there are many others who just, again, haven't played this game. And many others in the series. So there's no strong emotional connection to the character and everything in the game. It doesn't trigger any memories. So when it comes to retro gaming, of course, when it comes to nostalgia and retro gaming, it doesn't really matter the popularity. People play it and they enjoy playing games that they enjoy playing back in the days, and they really want to, just relive those memories when they were kids. Still, it's fun discovering other games and other successful games in other platforms, and maybe those who spend a lot of time, just researching about retro games, I'm pretty sure they came across the name Wonder Boy. I mean, I still remember, it's pretty crazy that I actually have an image in my head when a friend came over and we got the game, and the game was actually in the living room and actually in the balcony there area. Near the living room. It was kind of on the table, and I actually remember the case. I remember that, and I remember playing this in the afternoon, something like that. And trust me, if you ask me to remember anything at around this time that is not related, I don't remember anything. But I remember this particular day. So this is just one reason why many people want to just go back and play those games just to revive those memories, and maybe revive some memories that are not related to the game at all. And by the way, the most recent official release of the classic game Wonder Boy in Wonderland was in 2022 as part of the Wonder Boy collection. This compilation was released for the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4, and it includes the original arcade version of the game. And this was the first time that I actually relived this game all over again. I was also more pumped because it came with so many things, like an art book, for example, and other cool stuff that of course I never had before. And again, nothing can replace this. This is just pure happiness. And you want a way to connect you to the past. And this was released, by the way, for the 35th anniversary of Wonder Boy. And I usually don't buy anything physical, but this one I had to feel it, like back in the days. Although now you can still buy it, but most of the time I'm just buying digital. Back then it wasn't like that, of course. So this is one way that I experienced it first. After that, of course, I'm going to play it like authentically on the Sega Master System, which I bought. I'm just waiting for other hardware to arrive, so experience it exactly how it was back then, more or less. But it's great having all the different versions available for you on the Nintendo Switch, especially if you want to play on the go. So you can see we have everything including Masterland. Sometimes I call it Monster World. Monsterland, you see the second one. And if you go inside, you can actually see we have version of System 2, Sega Mark III, System 2, and Master System, which I played, of course, the last one. So just at the end, I'm going to read there what it's written there. A year after the first part, Wonder Boy in Masterland was released as a sequel, but its gameplay was very different from the original. Because of those groundbreaking changes, it is considered as one of, if not the first action RPG. Sega took over the publishing and console versions. Thanks for watching, guys. Also consider subscribing. I'm going to make lots of these retro gaming videos very soon. I already made quite a few. So if you love retro gaming, I'm going to have a playlist specifically for that on my channel, so make sure to visit it. Thanks for watching.